I need you to listen to this like your life depends on it, because in some very real way, it does. Not your heartbeat, your life, the one you were actually meant to live. There are two kinds of people in this world. Those who carry their old self with them everywhere they go, like a passenger who never stops talking, and those who killed that version of themselves on purpose and never looked back. The difference between them is not age, it's not intelligence, it's not even circumstance. It's a decision, one most people are too afraid to make. Let me tell you what nobody tells you about growth. You cannot become a new person while still protecting the old one. You cannot build a stronger identity on top of a weaker one and expect it to hold. At some point, something has to end before something else can begin. That is what this video is about. Not motivation, not a pep talk, an ending. Think about who you were 5 years ago, the excuses you made, the things you tolerated, the version of you that settled, that stayed silent, that let fear make the final call. That person is not who you are. That person is who you were. And the tragedy is not that he existed. The tragedy is when people keep dragging him into every new room, every new opportunity, every new relationship, introducing him before they even open their mouths. You keep saying, "That's just how I am," as if it's a fact carved into stone. It is not a fact. It is a habit wearing the costume of a fact, and habits, no matter how old, can be ended. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. What are you still doing today that your old self used to do? What excuse are you still making that you made 5 years ago? What fear are you still obeying that you were obeying a decade ago? If the answer is uncomfortable, good. Discomfort is the doorway. Comfort is the cage. Here is the truth about identity that almost nobody explains properly. You do not discover who you are. You decide who you are, and then you prove it through repeated action until it becomes true. The old you was not defeated because life was too hard. The old you was defeated because he negotiated. He said, "I'll change tomorrow." He said, "Just this once won't matter." He said, "I deserve a break," so many times that the breaks became the routine and the growth became the exception. The new version of you does not negotiate, not because he's cruel to himself, but because he understands something the old self never grasped. Every negotiation with weakness is a vote against the future you claim to want. So here is the first thing you must do. You must kill the excuses that kept the old you alive. Not manage them, not reduce them, kill them. "I don't have time." Dead. "I'm just not built that way." Dead. "I'll start when things calm down." Dead. Every time one of these thoughts tries to resurrect itself, you must recognize it for what it is, a ghost trying to walk again. Do not feed a ghost, starve it, and it disappears. Now let's talk about the cost, because most people never calculate it. Every year you keep the old self alive is a year of compound interest lost, not on money, on becoming. The version of you that could have existed by now, the opportunities that required a person you hadn't built yet, the relationships that needed a stronger, steadier version of you to even begin. All of it sits unclaimed while the old self keeps making the same small, safe choices. This is the quiet tragedy nobody puts on a highlight reel. Not dramatic failure, just years spent maintaining a version of yourself that was never supposed to be permanent. Now let's talk about the environment that built your old self, because identity is never built alone. You were shaped by the rooms you sat in, the conversations you absorbed, the people who normalized your smallness because your smallness made them comfortable. If you want to kill the old you, you cannot keep returning to the exact same rooms expecting a different person to walk out. The old self was reinforced by familiar company, familiar comfort, familiar noise. The new self requires new inputs, new standards, new company, new information, and yes, sometimes a new silence where old noise used to live. This will cost you something. Growth always does. Some relationships were built entirely around the old version of you, and they will not survive the new one. Not because you're cruel, but because some people only know how to love the person you used to be. Let that be okay. You are not responsible for keeping everyone comfortable with your evolution. Here's the part almost nobody says out loud. Killing the old you is not a one-time event. It is not a single decision made in a dramatic moment and then finished forever. It is a daily execution. Every single day, the old self tries to reappear in the snooze button, in the excuse, in the comfortable lie you tell yourself before bed. And every single day, you must choose again to end him. This is why most people fail at change. They treat it like an event. I decided to change on January 1st. But identity is not built in a decision. It's built in the 10,000 small repetitions after the decision, when nobody is watching, when there's no applause, when it would be so easy to let the old self quietly slip back in. Discipline is not punishment in this process. Discipline is the daily proof that the decision was real. Let's talk about the words you use, because language is not just description, it's instruction to your own mind. Every time you say, "I'm trying to change," you are quietly keeping one foot in the old identity. Trying implies permission to fail back into who you were. Deciding does not. Watch your own sentences for a week. Notice how often you describe yourself using the old evidence. I've always been like this. I'm not really a disciplined person. I've never been good with money, with people, with follow-through. Every one of those sentences is a small resurrection of the very self you claim you want to kill. You cannot speak the old identity into every conversation and expect the new one to take root. Start replacing description with declaration. Not, "I'm trying to be disciplined," but "I am someone who follows through." Not, "I'm not good with money," but "I am learning to be excellent with money." The sentence doesn't need to feel true yet, it needs to be repeated until it becomes true. The same way every identity you've ever held was built. Now, let's talk about momentum, because this is where most people quit right before the breakthrough. The first days of becoming someone new feel disproportionately hard compared to the results you see. You do the work, and nothing dramatic happens. No applause, no visible transformation, no proof yet that any of this is working. This is exactly where the old self makes his strongest case. See, nothing's different. Maybe this isn't for you. Do not believe him. Identity change is not linear, and it is not immediately visible, not to you and not to anyone else. It compounds silently before it compounds visibly. The version of you that quits in week 3 never finds out what week 12 would have felt like. Let me address the fear underneath all of this, because it's real, and I won't pretend it isn't. Some part of you is afraid that if you kill the old self, you'll lose something. Comfort, identity, the story you've told yourself for years, even the sympathy people give you for staying the same. Here is the truth. You will lose something. You will lose the excuses. You will lose the comfort of staying small. You will lose people who only ever loved your limitations. But you will gain the one thing the old self never had access to, a future built on your terms instead of your fears. Every setback you face in this process is not proof that the old self was right to hold back. It is proof that you're finally in unfamiliar territory, which is exactly where growth happens. Comfortable ground never built anyone. Train yourself to say, "This discomfort is the old self dying. Let him go." Two people can face the exact same failure while trying to change. One uses it as evidence to return to the old identity. See, I told you I wasn't built for this. The other uses it as information and adjusts without ever considering going back. The failure was identical. The identity attached to it was not. That is the entire difference between people who transform and people who stay exactly the same for the rest of their lives, wondering what happened to their 20s, their 30s, their potential. People around you may resist the new version of you. They'll call it a phase. They'll say you've changed like it's an accusation instead of an achievement. Ignore them. Most people never killed their old self. They just got used to living inside it. And anyone actively evolving reminds them of the version of themselves they were too afraid to release. That discomfort belongs to them, not to you. You do not need permission to become someone new. You do not need the old you's approval to move on without him. You need one decision defended daily until the new identity is no longer something you're performing, it's simply who you are. So here is what I want you to walk away with. The old you does not deserve blame. He got you here, but he cannot take you further. At some point, gratitude for who got you this far has to turn into the courage to leave him behind. The question was never whether you're capable of becoming someone new. You already are. The question is whether you'll keep protecting who you used to be or finally let him go. So decide, today. Not when it's convenient, not when you feel ready, today. Say it with me. I am not who I was. I do not owe my past self loyalty at the expense of my future. Every day I choose the new version of me. The old one gets weaker and the new one gets stronger until there's no version left to go back to. I am not the person I used to be. I am not finished becoming who I'm meant to be, and the old me is already gone. And so it is.